Ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased to kick off the inaugural 2022 season of Poets of the East by inviting these wonderful poets from across the globe to talk to you about their thoughts of love, to share something of their inner heart, something that they wanted to share about love. We have some marvelous poets who have for years been so brave as to share what their heart knows, what their head knows, what they show in their lives, that is love. And love can be just the most transformative thing. Love can bring you the greatest happiness. Love can bring you unmentionable sorrow. And love is what powers our lives every day. And with that, I want to welcome all these marvelous poets and their guests. I want to welcome first and foremost my partner in this project today, Francesa Kirkpatrick. Thank you so much, Francesa, for all the wonderful time you've put into this and for sharing your heart with us. The poets that you brought are marvelous. Tell us a little bit about those poets that you brought us today, Francesa.
Well, I brought Mr. Christopher T. George. He was born in Liverpool, England in 1948. He immigrated to the U.S. in 1955, but returned home to experience the swinging 60s. He re-immigrated to the U.S. in 1968 and studied poetry with Sister Mara Ercher and Elliot Coleman. His creative writing has been published in journals and newspapers worldwide. He lives with his wife, Donna, in Newark, Delaware. In addition to his creative writing, Chris is an artist, song lyricist, published historian of the War of 1812 and Edgar Allan Poe and Jack the Ripper. Chris has a poetry site at Chris George netpublishing.net. So you can find him on there. And my interest in today is I've always thought about love with the Beatles. And because Chris was born right there and knows a lot about that place and that era, I thought to invite him to tell us about what kind of love that he saw there in that area. Because if the Beatles were love and you were born in that area around that time, you would know how that felt to you. And I know you're going to share just whatever you have prepared for us. I'm just proud to have you here. And even before I knew all that, you were just so cool anyway to me, because I just loved all that you're about. And you and your wife, Donna, show so much love to be, supportive, to be here with us on our Zooms. So just want to thank you for that. And you let me know, Richard, if I need to also introduce Rhoda, because I have to change screens here to get her bio up here.
Well, why don't you go ahead? Let's have Christopher start us off. And while he's telling us some poems, then you can check out that other information. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to do the share screen if I can.
Hold on one moment. I will set that up for you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Let me get to the beginning of this. Starting off with, oh shit. Sorry.
That's okay.
Getting messed up. Okay. Raw blonde, tree trunks stacked length on length, raw blonde cuts in a line, row upon row. I think of the choices we have made, irreversible, regretted, the cuts created by the buzzsaw of life. As my train takes me from you, I savor my Dewar's scotch, think how much you mean to me and what cannot be. Decisions, life's cuts, bleeding, stump holes. I count each ring, each scar, dream that once more my fingers run over your blonde thighs, and I sigh. Oh yes, I sigh. And going to give you a song, The Leaving of Liverpool. Fare ye farewell to Prince's Landing Stage. River Mersey, fare thee well. I am bound for California, a place I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee, I've shipped on a Yankee clipper ship. Davy Crockett is her name, and Burgess is the captain. And they say that she's a floating hell. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee, I have sailed with Burgess once more. I think I know him well. If a man's a sailor, he will get along. If not, he's sure in hell. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee, fare thee well to Lower Frederick Street, Anson Terrace and Park Lane. I am bound away to leave you, and may never see you again. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but my darling, when I think of thee, I am bound for California by the way of stormy Cape Horn, and I will write to you a letter, love, when I am homeward bound. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return, united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that grieves me, but me darling, when I think of thee. Thanks, everyone.
What's up, Christopher? What's up? Thank you for adorning this moment with by your song. Oh, great skill.
Chris, when I think of you, I do think of Liverpool and love, and even in my family, learning all the stuff I've learned about them sailing back and forth. That made a lot of wonderful sense to me. My great-great-grandfather was a cook on a boat that sailed back and forth to Liverpool for a while, so
Yeah,
makes my heart feel joy this
wonderful.
morning to hear you sing that.
All right.
So next, are we moving on to Rhoda?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Or you got something else? Rhoda Thomas is no stranger to the vicissitudes of romantic love. Having been married 4 times, divorced and widowed twice, she now lives happily with her partner and 2 cats in South Wales, UK. She has conducted research into intimacy, prostitution, circumcision, sexuality, being age and death, and her poems often reflect the complexities of the ambivalences of love and grief. She is a familiar figure to open mics, and she has read her work at festivals such as Marxism, Mather Rising, Troublemakers, Swansea Fringe, and the Visuals and the rallies, as well as being a frequent contributor to Poetry in the Brew, Gestalt Poetry, based in Nashville, USA, and Lit Up, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Rhoda is a co-founder of Live Poets Society and the Red Poet Wales, UK. Her work, grounded in feminism, socialism, and anti-racism, she is co-author of a compendium of personal growth and has published 5 collections of poetry, of which most recent, 2021, You May Go. I would love for Rhoda to come to the mic and give us some love.
Wow, great, dear, great.
Thank you for reading all that, Francesa. I'm not sure I should have sent quite so much, but lovely. And I'd like to point out that I'm really delighted my partner, Tim, and co-founder of Live Poets is here as well. The, yeah. I mean, I think hopefully, I mean, the point of mentioning the rallies and the vigils and so on, and festivals like Marxism and Merthyr Rising is that politics is important as well as poetry. And I think that's kind of evident in this first poem. So this is called Cinderella. I went to the dance on a rare night out, and you picked me out of the crowd. How? You showed me the floodlit fountains, the fairy lights in the trees, the fireworks in the sky. And I would have missed them all without you. I went home in a pumpkin chariot, my glorious dress dissolving effortlessly into rags, and my shoe missing. By day, I went down on my knees. The stains of muddy feet, crumbled earth, dripped juices had to be erased before anyone found them. Beds stripped, baths scoured, blinds scrubbed, bed bugs, blood, fleas, dust and grease, pastry crumbs, coffee spills, cat fur, finger marks, fungi, all must be gone. And my prayers for deliverance reached the ears of foxgloves and the feathers of ferns. By night, alone in my turret room, the birds come and keep me company, and I speak to the field mice and the friendly rat. I know how to make a bread and butter pudding from old dried bread and one egg. I know how to mince meat and make soup from bones. I went to the dance on a rare night out, and you picked me out of the crowd. How? You showed me the people eating poppy cake, the pretty boats in the harbour, the peonies on the balcony. The morning after, I filled baskets with crumbs, bed bugs, fungi and fur, and I took them to the poor, who turned them into loaves and linen, medicines and warm coats. So, you come with the size 4 stiletto, and the ugly sisters try to hoodwink you, but you know what's genuine and who's on the make, and you hold firm till I'm brought to you. What are you asking? I'm no decoration, and you think to woo me? Well, here are my conditions. I want a warm coat. I want warm, fresh bread, not your fountains and poppy cakes. I want warm coats and fresh bread for all.
Wow, what song, dear, what song?
So, you know, that obviously is about the, you know, the fantasy of love. I mean, with the concept of this being, you know, Valentine's event, you know, it's about romantic love particularly. But what concerns me about romantic love is not just that it's, you know, a bit or even significantly a fantasy, but it's also about the atomization of the couple and of people. You know, you're lucky to have love, and you know, and we're all supposed to be doing that, but we all know that, you know, there are years, and for some people their whole lives, you know, massive amounts of loneliness and massive amounts of abuse, and it doesn't all work out as the fantasy. But more than that, I think we should be, as well as looking for or enjoying, you know, love in romantic relationships, shall we say, that we need a love, you know, for humanity. And I think if those go together, we're more likely to find loving relationships, really. So anyway, I'm going to read a second poem, if that's all right. And this one is about, you know, because again, for me, I mean, it's lovely. Today, I was very lucky that flowers arrived, which was wonderful from Tim for our Valentine's. I mean, in fact, although we are of an age, our relationship is relatively new, in, you know, 5 or 6 years. And so for me, Valentine is, I mean, maybe, well, I'm sure for some couples who've been married together 30, 40 years, they still have Valentine's Day, but it has the energy of the romance of beginning love. So this poem is called New Love. Those days in bed where the pleasures of the body replace the need for food, when a tin of pears or a bowl of grapes will do, because they only take a moment to get, running to the kitchen in bare feet, tearing some pieces of sourdough, scooping out some hummus from the tub in the fridge, and bringing a bottle of red wine back to the love bower. And maybe not even the need for cups or glasses, and Santana beating out the sound all day long. And laughing, that pure kind of laughter that comes from a place of being set adrift from inner moorings. And no one, absolutely no one, can take this away. You get out the clothes from your wardrobe one by one, because he says he'd like to see them. And you bring them out in turn, holding them up against your shape. The dark green velvet, the workaday blue with the pan collar, the soft mauve jersey with the cowl neck. Gentle, accessible you, tender to the touch. You leave the scarlet halter neck at the back of the cupboard. You don't want to discuss where it was you wore it or why. The cats come in to meet this new visitor, this man who usurps their place, whose strong, bony hands are at this moment ruffling the duvet, accepting them, encouraging them, because what you love, he loves. Though later he might suggest that you shut them out, because he says they might try to wake you up by tapping at your eyelids with their paws, and you don't want to risk that. You hope you can both stay interested in each other's style of lovemaking for a long, long time, trying out new pathways with your hands, a new pace, perhaps more slowly, without former lovers coming into the room. You hope you can go to the places you want to, holding back the memories you don't want, creating new patterns, rewriting the scripts, let them pass fleetingly through your fantasies. Talk about how you grieve or celebrate now. You make sure you discourage any Valentines this year. You put up a big notice on Facebook, in a relationship. Block a couple of people from your network, write a couple of goodbye emails to make sure, because you want this to work. You don't want any trouble. You go out to lunch with your besties. You buy the lunch, you absorb their dismay, their concern, their jealousy, their delight. They got you to this place, but the journey will go on without them now. You reassure them that you'll always love them. You order puddings, but you know a separation is coming that cannot be healed. Time passes and you find yourself drifting into old habits, cutting your own work schedule to make the meals, having the wine bought and chilled before he arrives, paying for the same things, walking through the same doors, and you rein back, change the music, talk about why, try saying no. No, you don't want to do that anymore. Try asking, because you never asked enough. And if you don't ask, you're holding back. And why would you want to do that? You've been speaking to the cats. And yes, they do have to sleep on the bed. And yes, that's a good start to a new love.
Wow. Excellent, excellent.
Rhoda, that is amazing. So wonderful to have you here with us, hearing your words and talking about Tim as well. He's an amazing person too, to be in the life of you and as a couple.
Superbly recited, superbly.
Francesa, I'm going to ask you if you would share one or two of yours with us now. Can I do that?
Yes, I will. I have one called Peace, Love, and Globalization. And because there's so many people here from around the globe, this is the perfect one for today as well. Peace, Love, and Globalization. Dear global friends, to each other we are supportive. We give from our hearts only to strengthen friendships. Being global friends, we support each other in daily life, sharing news, video games, TV shows. We even can share the same foods if available. So, what are your future recipes? Vaccinations, emojis will be the new currency. Music is universal. Let's save it as well. Peace, love, and globalization. And I have one called Imagine Love, which this is the theme of sort of like what I was coming from with Chris, because I didn't realize when I wrote this that I actually had a lot of Beatles-esque stuff in here, but it actually works out because it's just amazing love. Imagine love. Imagine love. I imagine love is like diamonds in the sky. I imagine walking through the fields, never ending, hand in hand with my dearest. I imagine love grows like a breath. Imagine me holding you with love. Our love is not imaginary. Imagine love is like a breeze blowing. Imagine love shining on you like sunshine. Love is what happens when we learn to do more than imagine together. Imagine love forever. That's how I imagine love with you. And I'll reiterate on that and say that people in my life that I see, I hold dear to my heart. The poets that are in my life, I hold dear. I feel a great love for all of you. The essence of love is in my heart because of your words. And I had one last one that I wrote. It's about love. I have always dreamed we would meet. The days turn into weeks and months. Where have the years gone? All of my life, I was born to love. Songs about love played to me in the womb. After all, I am a love child. Was I meant to be yours? Love, I have dreamed of you. I love you always and forever. My heart belongs with you. That's something that I can feel when
Great.
we're in love.
It's fabulous, fabulous, Francesca.
Thank you so
Thank you.
very much. Well, I would like to welcome two more guests to our fine assemblage here. I will first call upon Gelda. Gelda, who travels to us across the sea from the great continent of South America, from Brazil. Gelda, who has told her poems, who has educated, who has made hearts lighter and given beauty to the world. Please, Gelda, would you read us a
So
poem?
generous. You are very kind. First of all, I'd like to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this brilliant moment, for this exchange, so fabulous. Thank you. Humble thanks. Guys, I'd like to share with you the first one poem entitled A Loveless Existence. As I guess, a life without love. It is impossible. It's nothing. So a loveless existence, it's like life without sun, a fountain without water, a year without spring, like a garden without flower. Live without being loved is the same as a tasteless meal, a desert without oasis, a cry of pain, supreme multi-faced experience to love and to be loved. Life lived in this full splendor. Let them say so. Valentine's couples, a mother rocking the baby, a brother defending brothers, an authority taking care of a nation, the Creator exalting us above all creation. Guys, love is nothing. Love is nothing without love, or life is nothing without love. We complement with each other. It's so simple to understand and to live that, but it's so hard to most people to understand this little recipe. The other is a short piece entitled "Just Love." Is a teenage imaginary love, so easy, so beautiful. Peers of love are you and me, flying freely over field's glee, overflowing our cup steam. We shine into entitled green. A tied bond wraps us for a lifetime, I guess, beyond a glorious way to us, a sweeter world for we have met in this present time. Cheers to the victory of life and love, our greatest treasure in life. Guys, in this wonderful day, I would like to offer each one of you a bunch of love, much love for your life, okay?
Thank you so much, Gelda. Eloquent as always, a heart so full. Thank you so much. So
Kind on you.
Thank you. Now, my friends, I want to bring to you a voice I know you've heard before, a voice, Christine Hall, who I have so many similar things with her. One of the things that I want to share is that her life was very much molded and changed with a confrontation of religion, a confrontation of philosophy. She is a woman, a poet, who has done great thought about the impact of the divine on how people understand it. And this has made her that poet she is, a giving heart, a woman who has made so much easier for poets. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Christine Hall, a woman with an immense heart, like you all, but an immense heart. Christine.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I am so happy for the invite. It is beautiful to be here with you all, celebrating love today in a place where it really exists. I'm going to put in my pitch for love as creativity, as what feeds life, as the force of the universe, right? Life is nurtured by love, right? And it's creativity, right? We're affirming life, affirming creation, right? We're taking all this destructive energy and we are performing alchemy and making, right? Making the flowers grow in that fertile ground, which is spread out before us. So yeah, thank you for that. We are ripe for it. I'll say a couple of poems from my little book, which is
Wow.
floating in the universe. Okay. Never mind. I'm in love with your soul. I don't know what that means or what a soul is exactly, except I don't know exactly what it is I love about you. I love your voice, but I'd love you without it. I love your looks, but I'd love you without those. I love your attitude, but I'd love you even if that changed too. Simply, my soul fell in love with your soul, And I don't know what that means, but it feels true. All these things I love about you aren't what I love about you. I love them because I love you. And I don't know what that means, but it feels true.
Wow, great, Christine, great.
The next one is called a Dubswing. It's a little weirder. A Dubswing, like your hands, fly down and lay gently on my neck, then move down and lay gently on my chest. At your touch, I gently rest, on my back, then on my breast. Reach my hands out into a spider's web, push through, touch the glass onion, I peel it back. You peel the shirt from your back. Peach pit in your chest grows now with the steady flow of red juice. Kissing you is like eating a strawberry I bite into, ever so gently, ever so sweetly, ever so easy. A dove's wing, like your heart bleeds. I bring it back with my strange caress, never so numb, always so easy.
Fabulous, fabulous, dear Christine, fabulous.
No. I have one more. If that's good. Okay, cool. This one is for my current partner of, goodness gracious, I think we're going on 14 years now. Yeah, we had our first date right about 14 years ago. Let's see, this one's called Love Poem 42. Hey, I'm 42 now. He was 42 when I met him, as you'll find out in the poem. Okay. It's embarrassing. I've never read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, though I'm fond of saying 42 is the meaning of life. It's not Monty Python. My boyfriend was 42 when I met him, and love is the meaning of life, or the main plot point in mine. Again, embarrassing. What's more embarrassing is how much I love dreaming. My kindergarten teacher called me a space cadet. That was the year my boyfriend graduated. I watched Sesame Street on a 13-inch black and white TV and learned you can get anything you want at Mr. Hooper's store, which was right next door to the laundromat, where it all came out in the wash and everyone went home happy, no matter the color of their skin or feathers. In my dreams, I have blue skin and I'm from Arcturus. We waltz weightless on the edge of Hooper's nebula, and Mr. Hooper tells me what goes out with Hooper's sheets comes in with Hooper's sheets. It's messy business, creating and incarnating, taking turns at the wheel of this time machine. In the grand scheme, 13 years is almost nothing. Here on Earth, the disparity is more challenging. He's not up on modern communication skills or social networking. Sometimes I tune out his music selections, and his taste in kitsch doesn't necessarily match my fantasy. When we dance, I can't always follow his lead, but he holds me like he did once upon a dream. Memory fluxes through eons to the birth of the universe even. It's Mr. Hooper's day off. The sheets are dirty. We're every great love who's ever been and those who have yet to exist. He cuts his hair on the solstice, which is about how often I shave my legs. Did I travel through all the time and space for this? Yes. I may be crazy and cheesy for saying, at least I'm crazy in love. It's true, our atoms were dancing from the start, and it's true what they say about the bay. Oh, love you.
Great, great, great.
So wonderful, so wonderful. Well, I'm going to share two of mine with you, and I'm going to take you way out, and I'm going to bring you right back in. So here is a little something that I wrote because friends of mine said, Rick, you know, you can be so positive, but sometimes you write so sarcastic. So I decided I would try to write something really, really positive. So here it is. And this is about love of the world. It's called Non-Disposable World. Picture it. A world without thermonuclear overkill. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A world after all the bombs are gone. Too far, Mon? Bomb lost its thrill. It will. It will. Picture it. A world not holding its breath at the edge of death. The toxic waste, the chemical taste of food, in money only good. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No mad generals with pointing digit poised, ears pinned, filled with noise of shouts of doubts. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A world after the end of biological weapons that fools would send, threaten. Bomb lost its thrill. It will. It will. Picture it. No fanatic, dramatic, climactic climate war. No inversions of floods or earthquake cone crunch. Too much heat then or dry. No clouds in the sky. No rain with lunch. Bomb lost its thrill. It will. It will. Picture it. No ray guns in space. No thistly whistly missiles to bless the stratosphere torn or hot heads wind down. Burn after space war. Afterthought. It meant quite a lot. Picture the bombs gone, the missiles dismissal, the sub decommissioned, no reactors out fishing. Picture it. The control boards turned off. Did I hear a scoff? Bomb lost its thrill. It will. It will.
Wow, wow. It is incredible, dear Rick.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now, for another side of love, perhaps closer to home, perhaps a little warmer, perhaps, it's called Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret, so well kept, just like a million slippered, yet the sweet taste of lace, the feathered further silken trace, ribbons dangle, teasing tangle threads abed, fingers fine, curvaceous fashion lash the golden mine behind, with the glorious finding there beyond the curious curtain layer, fine the skin refined, contained the bosom and the derriere, that's tame, that to the gentle vision lure, peeking, peeping, seeping beyond the touch undone, unleash its vintage version one. So the glories of the sun obscured by clouds, the golden shaft strikes earth, and comfort tossed as joyous mirth released it from its lacy storage, as the hearty joy unleashed snaps, and button burden breeched, lacy ribbon underneath, falls again to greater glory, falls to earth its victory won, and now begins within the steamy story fun. So we'll round once. Let's try round again. Francesa, my dear.
Oh, sorry. Rhoda, do you have something for us?
I could read another one. Yes.
Well, then
We would love to
please.
have you.
Yeah, it's not. Sorry, it's not that short, but it's something important, I think, especially for people who are not necessarily in happy, loving relationships, and I know what that struggle is like. This is called "I Need to Love Myself," and I think that I wouldn't have got into some very painful and difficult relationships if I had loved myself much more earlier in my life. I need to love myself, says the book, but what would that mean exactly? I remember dancing barefoot in the park, lush green grass, no one there, rustling in the trees, whispers in the silence. I remember walking on a royal red road, the meridian line beneath my feet, and you could see the river far below. I look in the mirror. I like the eyes, the lips, the hair, the skin. Sometimes I'm kind to the aches and pains, and I find squishy chairs, squishy cushions and rocking chairs. And sometimes I override the thermostat and I keep going long into the night. When someone puts me down in conversation, I often don't notice until later. And instead, I take off to the shops and come back with something new to wear. I'm not perfect. I throw towels in with the tea cloths and I know I shouldn't. And I hate the way I shrink from confrontation and feel that old familiar dread when voices are raised or someone has the hump. Don't get me wrong, I can be brave. I've stood up to raging monsters all my life, and I recognize that horror in other women's eyes. I like soft lights, touches of yellow glowing in the corners of rooms, small pockets of color, tangerines in a bowl, parsley on the windowsill, a dress that's black with strands of mauve. I hate the way I let clutter build up, but it's the sign of a busy life. Sometimes I don't feel very much at all, and I don't remember things. Years have completely gone from awareness. I took on board the way you used to talk to me, but since then, I've spat the words out of me. I've had enough of the chaos, the falling apart, the curling up in fetal position, the makeup running down my face, the scratching on the wall, on the door, and on my skin. I say hello to my survivor self. I love walking on the beach and talking to my dog. I'm not lonely today. I do not dance alone. The wind talks to me. The horizon beckons, the skyline comforts. I buy hot chips at the end of the promenade. So sometimes I say the wrong things. Who gives a fuck? I think I'm being welcoming and he thinks I'm coming on to him. I think I'm being supportive and she feels patronized. I think I'm being clever, but they know more. Excruciating missteps, and I can't get them out of my mind. But then I play the violin, coaxing beauty from the strings, and sing. Sometimes I sing, and I can't keep going. I break down, and the feelings at last are free. I love the way I feel obligated to turn out, even when it's raining. If I said I'd go, I go. And yes, that sense of reliability, I love that. The same way I tried to stay with you through funerals and weddings and fights. I can make a mean curry and good apple puddings. I look at the stars now. I know what it is to feel wonder. I can fall in love with myself. Every day is new. Hold the whole picture and ignore the little things. Chat away to no one and everyone. I don't get it right all the time, but these days, more often than not, I love me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
No, I can go if you're ready for me.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah. George Formby was a musical artist of the 1930s and 40s in England, and he played the ukulele and had one or two hits in addition to making movies, which probably only ran pretty much in England and not really in the United States, I don't think. Some of those same songs were picked up by Herman's Hermits in the 1960s. And one of the songs that he was famous for was this one. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street, in case a certain little lady comes by. Oh me, oh my, in case a certain little lady comes by. Oh, she's wonderful, she's marvelous, she's fabulous, she's beautiful, and anyone can understand why. I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street, in case a certain little lady comes by. She doesn't always get away, she cannot always get away, but anyway, I know that she'll try. Oh me, oh my, I hope that little lady comes by. She's not the kind of girl to be late for. but this one I'll break any date for. I won't have to ask what she's late for. She'd never leave me flat. She's not a girl like that. Wonderful. She's marvelous. She's fabulous. She's beautiful. And anyone could understand why. I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by. Thank you.
Chris, that was wonderful.
I'd like to go to Christine Hall, and then we'll come back to you, Francesca, for your final one, okay? Christine, my dear, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to talk a little more about love. I have a very short poem, a little bit of close. How about that? Sometimes my mic gets weird. Okay, fine. Maybe I spit right into it. Who knows? Maybe it was a tear from Rhoda's poem. I don't know. Okay, so I love etymology, especially delving into, say, original texts and things like that. And of course, I'm fascinated with biblical imagery and turning that on its head. The poetry of it, yes, the metaphor, how it helps me understand life, and so how that pertains to love. I was researching God and having some Jewish heritage. Like, I'm aware we don't say God necessarily. Sometimes it's G-D, Yahweh, the name I am that I am. That's not really spoken. We say instead Adonai or Elohim, right? So I was looking into the Adonai one, right? So this is a very simple concept, but it's deeply meaningful to me. So Adonis, God, singular, nature, spirit, as we know. Adonis, singular. Adonai, plural. Okay? The name of God, that nature, spirit, the all-pervasive, loving, nurturing force of life, right? Our common interest. I'm a secular spirit myself, as I must emphasize. However, I love that metaphor, and I put it into this much more succinct poem. Here we go. Each of us, Adonis, 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 Adonai.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Francesca, you want to regale us with one more of your rich poems?
Yes, actually, I'm going to take it for a different spin. We have love in our hearts, but some people have love for food that can even cause their demise. So I thought I would bring out one of my Southern poems, because people love to hear me recite it in my Southern accent. So I'll do this. Oni Spotman, Peaches. Oni Spotman picked a bucket of juicy peaches. In church, she always listens as the preacher preaches. Oni would stay up late every night, reading her Bible by candlelight. One night, something was not quite right. No one could see Oni's candlelight. That night before supper, Oni Spotman said, "I believe I'll eat these peaches until I'm dead." Oni Spotman ate the whole bucket, enjoying every bite. The next morning they found Oni Spotman dead, the bucket of peaches by her head. If only Oni Spotman would have went to bed, all that was left was a pile of peach pits by her head. Poor Oni Spotman. Now, I would also, if we do have time, want to call on, if some people are, here with us, if you want, we might have them do something for us. Would you like that, Richard? Would you like for?
Certainly.
So, Finn, do you have anything that you could read for us today about love? Because I know you, are you not wanting to do it? You're not prepared. You can do it if you got something, or just say something to us. Maybe I should just go around here and ask what love means to people. Maybe that's it. That's what I feel is like. Finn, what does love mean to you?
Consistency, working at it, learning.
That's good. And then I'll
Bring Rebecca on. Rebecca, would you bring us one of your love poems too?
I wasn't expecting to read, but I'm quite happy to, if that's okay with everybody. When I studied ancient Greek, they have about 5 or 6 different words for love. And I've always thought the English language is a bit defective in that respect, you know, because there are so many different things encompassed by that one word. Anyway, if it's okay, I will read a poem I wrote called Love Tokens. It was inspired by something I saw at Swansea Museum. It was an embroidered cushion that a sailor had made for his beloved back home. So this is Love Tokens. What must they have thought, your sailor friends watching you on deck, your rough-hewn hands, brown bruised apples, fiddling at pin-tucked velvet folds, heart and anchor weighed, as you worked away your pristine stitches for your landlocked love. Your thoughts perhaps drifted to an island, an ocean's distance, framed with chintz and curtains, your loved ones neat behind, perched prim and proper, atop a mountain of cushions, velvet, smooth as scales, soft sheen salt, the curve of invitation. In the corners you stitch a lover's token. Think of me when I am far away. Imagine her small white fingers elegant as needles, her hair piled tight in a neat bun, the wispy strands that struggle from their pins. A seagull shrills, and overhead the sky flings relentless rain. Wood creaks, groans and splinters, pins, needles and stitches, too neat for your sailor's fingers to unpick. Your grip slips, trips, but your lips purse. You will not be broken by time or tide, but hook and line, with each thread's drawing from sea to moon and back again, hitch you one length closer to your mooring.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Rebecca. That was beautiful.
Oh, well, thanks for letting me read.
Sure.
It's been a wonderful event.
It's a memory of my youth, my first kisses, and the wonder of these first kisses. So the title, I read first in Italian and then in English. The title is 24 and 1,000 Kisses, from the old song 24.000 baci, the Italian song. 24 e 1.000 baci. Bambini o poco oltre, ci davamo 1.000 baci nelle ombre. Baci di sera sui muri scrostati, baci danzanti, baci innocenti, di androni e di gatti randagi, baci sfrontati, baci di mani e stupore e di carne, baci, baci nascosti, baci profondi di erba che punge, baci bambini, di soglia e scoperte. Ora il verme cieco nella pancia urla fame e vuoto e mai si sazia, qualcosa nella nebbia si frantuma. Il bianco che rimane muto qui sul foglio è forse redenzione. And now in English. 24 and 1,000 kisses. As children, or slightly older, we kissed each other in the shadows. Evening kisses on the peeling walls, dancing kisses, innocent kisses of always, and stray cats, brazen kisses, kisses of hands, and wonder of flesh, kisses, hidden kisses, deep kisses of grass that stings, kisses of children, of thresholds and discoveries. Now the blind worm in the belly screams hunger and emptiness and never gets full. Something in the fog is shuddering, and the white space that remains mute on the paper is perhaps redemption. Oh, this one. So I wrote for this year, last year, it was 700 years, and I prepared a spectacle together. And I imagined to be one of the characters of Dante Inferno, Francesca da Rimini, and I wrote imaginary letters of Francesca to Paolo, her lover, and for this reason they were killed, and then Dante had to put them in the inferno, in the hell. And this is it's a short one, it's one of the last letter, and it's after everything already happened and they are going beyond the Acheron, oltre l'Acheronte. Non peccammo quando ci scoprimmo essenza e paradosso nello specchio, eppure senza colpe, condannati siamo sull'orlo tormentato dell'attesa, sospesi tra la notte e il sole, esclusi, non risolti, e sempre siamo fiume in piena, carne densa ancora, siamo nomi, anelli e atomi di luce. Beyond the Acheron. It was not a sin when we found each other, essence and paradox in the mirror, and yet, without fault, condemned we are on the tormented ridge of looming, suspended between night and sun, excluded, not resolved, and still we are river flooding. We are still flesh, dense, we are names. Okay, I'm writing a manuscript which is called Abecedario, spelling book, and it's dedicated to people who have been important in my life, even people who are not there anymore, sisters, men, and friends. And this one was a person I met. We never found the right time to be together. We met and we could not be together for several reasons. But it still is very much into my mind. It's about 40 years ago, but you know, those beautiful memories. And I do not write the titles or the names, it's just the letter. So this is letter E. We used to swap expectations in the years that spoke to the future. One night we met, one night only, and this was the grace, trading lives. For some reason, I still dream of you, a branch, an open hand. When doubts become bread, pick me up, welcome this flower. It is not cut, it lives here. Grasp these words of yours, I chew them and I stick them sideways into these minds, and I live a few hours, a little longer. Sometimes, you know, we should deconstruct and create again certain days of ours. Certain thoughts of end. Sulla soglia della notte ti cerco mentre parli e ridi a tutti con me avaro di parole giuste. Ti cerco nelle piaghe del maglione, inseguendo con la mano una presenza, con l'altra segno cerchi di briciole sul tavolo, misurando la distanza dalle stelle. Una conchiosa di notte poi mi aggrappo all'essenza del tuo pene addormentato, radice del mio albero, stella polare, guida sulle acque dell'assenza. Ho fame e nutro sangue freddo nelle vene. Non dico, ma spalanco gli occhi al buio e lascio che scorrano responsi nel vento stagionale. On the threshold of the night, I look for you, while you laugh and talk twaddle with me stingy of the thorough words. I look for you in the folds of your sweater, chasing with my hand the presents. With the other, I mark circles of crumbs on the table, measuring the distance from the stars. With neat spirals of numbers, with neat a pink seashell. At night, I cling to the essence of your sleeping penis, root of my tree, my north, my guide, on the waters of the absence. I'm hungry and the blood in my veins is freezing. I do not say a word. Instead, my eyes are wide open to the darkness, waiting for an answer to pour in with the seasonal wind.
I'm going to close with a poem regarding a father's love for his children. This is a piece called Each Morning Cup's Blessing. After I'm granted return today, I pour water from the sacred stream into the pot where coffee is brewed. I take the brown bean, the sweet, the bitter, the spicy, so like the moments of life, precious, darkly rich with flavor, brewing them with the heat of life. And each day, one by one, I drink one day from my Holyoke cup and think of my darling summer. The next morning, from my Aarhus cup and think of my darling meadow. Each wonderful, gifting cup of life and love, small containers of the incredible rich brew of life's bracing flavors. Each morning, my ritual brings me just a kiss away from these lovely girls I had a small part in bringing to the flavors of this richly brewed life. And cycling each day from one cup to the next, the other cup, then the next, I drink from love and love. My morning's coffee brings another small kiss from the rich brewed life to these small gifting cups my darling daughters offered. And each morning, as my lips kiss these cups, drinking the rich, deep flavors, I bless these girls, these women who brought such rich flavor to my little life. I love you both. I thank you both. And with each morning's coffee cup, I kiss your rich life, thanking the sea and the sky and the river of life for allowing me to love you and share these small draughts of the flavors of love and life. Francesa,
Thank you.
I'm going to offer you the last word, the last poem. My dear, please.
I'll just take a last word. I'm going to say this has been a beautiful day for us all to share this love and for you to have this on record so that we can share it with our friends and let them know how much we also love them and our family. I have a family member here and I'm so proud to have them actually show up and be a part of this. So yay, and happy birthday belated to you too.
I want to thank you all so very much for joining us for this first episode of Poets of the East. We begin a new season, new adventures, poets from across the globe. I want to thank each and every one of these poets who have joined us tonight for this inaugural voyage on the video version of Poets of the East. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.